Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader, and let's begin. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our risk disclosure. Okay, so before I do that, let me do one last thing here. Just gotta let everybody know that I'm here. Okay, so let's see here. Where did it go? Okay, oops. All right. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and start off with our risk disclosure here, guys. So we're going to go ahead and share my risk disclosure. Just let everybody know that the content that's being distributed by the market trader and it is to be used as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company's partners, agents, employees, contractors who assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We do understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Nothing contained again herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten through our risk disclosure, we're going to turn our attention and try to understand what we have in news that could potentially impact us in the markets. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn to financial juice. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the financial juice here and see if there's anything here that could potentially affect the markets. Okay, so we've already gotten the U.S. durable goods. It appears that came in better than expectation. Okay, so that's already been published. And then outside of that, looks like we don't have anything in the way of news that could potentially impact us. Now, like anything else, right? That doesn't mean that we can't have some unannounced announcement from our president or anything of that nature, related to tariffs or things of that nature, or some sort of news from OPEC for those crude oil traders that could have an impact to the market. So we always have to be on guard. We always have to be protected with stop losses on these kinds of events. Okay. So let's go ahead now and take a look and see. We're going to go ahead and move to our platform here. We're going to take a look at what the markets have to offer here. Okay. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and open up our charting platform. We're not going to start with crude oil. Okay. We are going to start with our normal market here, and that's the gold. Okay. Now, the gold has been a bit bearish of late. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the daily chart, try to get a sense of what the market. Now, this is the third day in a row. Okay, third day in a row that we've experiencing bearish price action. Okay, solid bearish engulfing candle here, followed by another continuation bearish candle here, and we're developing yet another bearish candle today. Okay, now we are starting to come into some areas where we could expect to see some buyers, right? So one area that is coming into focus here is this 3310 level. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mark this area that I've identified here in green if I can, okay, to indicate that this is indeed supportive. Okay, and color this also some sort of off green, some pale green here if we can. Let's see. Yeah, that looks okay. All right. So 3310 is does appear to be kind of an area that we could expect to see the potential of some buyers, right? Because again, if we look to the left, of this chart, you can see, right? You can see that the market has reacted away from this area in the past. Okay. If we look at a larger context here, okay, you can see that we've been in some sort of consolidation range. Now, if I draw just a trend line, because this does look like some sort of triangle pattern here, okay? So we are coming into the bottom edge of this trend line, okay? While we've had 3 consecutive candles to the downside, okay, we are now coming into a trend line that has been supportive in the past. Supportive here, supportive here, supportive here, supportive here. Now, what I can say is that with each attempt, we've lost a little bit of momentum to the upside, right? So we came down to this level, got a nice reaction back to the highs. We came back down to this level. The reaction has not been as strong. We get a now even more frequent test of this area, and with each level outside of this, possibly none of these pushes has created a new high away from this structure. Okay, so in my humble opinion, it appears that the market is building up some momentum for maybe a potential downside move in this market. Okay, I don't know exactly where that's going to land, whether it's going to be 3,300, whether it's going to come down to 3162, right, before we see maybe an area where we can potentially reverse this current path that we're in. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the 4-hour chart. We'll look at the 4-hour chart and focus in on, let's see, we'll turn this off here for a moment. Okay, so again, you can see here, we're getting the same kind of information that we got on the daily, right? We are in some sort of structure, again, to the downside, right? Every candle that we've witnessed or seen on the 4-hour is to the bearish side, okay? Nothing very minor, not even bullish candles. I mean, the best that we've been able to muster is this reversal candle around this area of support. And then we, again, continued in our trek to the downside, okay? Take a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so here we are looking at the 30-minute chart. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. I think I know the answer to this question, but we're going to go ahead and confirm it anyway. We're going to go ahead and look at where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move that to over here. So you can see, right, there's a good amount of interest here to the short side, okay, in this market, right? You can see, I'm going to go ahead and remove this here, okay? You can see that that price is well below value, okay? Now, this area here, okay, will serve as maybe a potential resistance area on the way back, right? So assuming that we come back and retrace some of this, or repair some of this price action, there's a possibility that we can come up here to 33.65 and continue our move to the downside. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up our ASR here. I think we might even be at we're beyond daily levels to the downside. I'm going to go ahead and open up my ASR. We're at ASR levels to the downside. So it would not be out of the realm of possibility here. Again, we're up against some trend lines, okay, that could cause price to reverse from these levels, okay. I'm going to go ahead and open up our VWAP. You can see that we are fairly extended. We have not come back to VWAP in the recent past, okay. So it would not be out of the realm of possibility here that we come back and revisit VWAP here, right around 33.54. And that would be a very healthy move, right? From our 33.41 levels up to VWAP, that's over a 12-point move, okay? So it'll be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and open our initial balance here just to get a sense of what kind of initial balance range that's being established here. So the range here is relatively narrow, okay? We're getting or building a reversal candle here at the moment. Looking maybe at the possibility of coming off this trend line that we drew on the daily and maybe potentially at least coming back up to VWAP. Okay. So headed into the session, I would say that my view on the market, the last thing I'm going to draw here, but I think it's going to confirm what we already know. We're going to go ahead and see what London has to say about all of this. And again, London was also equally bearish with the New York session. Okay. So based on what we're seeing at the moment, everything is pointing to sort of bearish behavior here. Okay, we're in bearish structure. So again, any upside move, we have to temper our expectations. And what I mean by that is we can't expect that is going to make a full rotation, right, back to the highs. That we should expect any bullish move to be maybe a move back to VWAP, maybe slightly above VWAP, but nothing that's going to take us maybe rotating through. Now, is it possible? Certainly. But is it likely? I would say maybe not so much, okay? The expectation should be a conservative given this bearish structure here, okay? All right, so let's go ahead now. So again, headed into the session, I remain bearish, but I do understand I am coming into some areas where I could get a potential reversal in this market. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market. Okay, we're going to look at this on the daily side. We're going to go ahead and remove any drawings that I have here. I don't have any, so that's excellent. Okay, so again, really difficult market here. Okay, again, as I mentioned to you in maybe past sessions, maybe we are in the midst of developing a little bit of a double bottom pattern here, a W pattern here. I'm sure you guys see this, right? This is one leg of the W. This is the middle of the leg. And this is the second leg. Could potentially lead us back higher. But until we break this 68.60 level, I'm not really super excited at sitting through some of this price action that we're currently in. Okay. Once we get above 68.80, 68.90, that should potentially accelerate this move back to the highs, right? Because there's nothing that stands in the way from making that move. Okay. Let's go ahead and move into the 4-hour chart. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see again that we are, let's see, turn off initial balance here for a moment. Okay, so you can see that we do have what appears to have some buyers that have kind of stepped into this market. This 64.70 level does appear to be been a supportive level. I do see that maybe that we've developed a little bit of a demand zone here, right? We have not created a new low, right? So this does appear that maybe it's created a little bit of a demand. We're developing a bullish candle at the moment on the 4-hour, and we're starting to see that we're getting higher highs and higher lows, right? However minor that might be, it is taking place, right? So we got a break of structure here, created a higher high, higher low. Break of structure here, created a higher high, and now a higher low. So again, we're starting to see some structure that may lead us to maybe higher prices. Okay, it stands to reason that we have the possibility of getting up to maybe the 67.50, maybe as high as 67.65. Okay, in this market would not be out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay, not seeing anything that necessarily stands in its way. 67.05 possibly is maybe an area here where we could find some sellers. All right, looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart, again, you can see that we're starting to get a little bit of price action that would indicate that maybe we are headed higher in this market. Okay, we're still about 10 minutes away from the open of this initial balance range. But let's go ahead and take a look at the anchored VWAP. We're going to take a look and see what London has to say about all of this. Okay, so London is also indicating that we could be headed higher. Price is above VWAP. Price is above our anchored VWAP. I'm just going to go ahead and open up our visible range volume profile here. So you can see here, based on the visible range profile, we're starting to make strides above value. People are willing to pay somewhat of a premium to participate in this market to the upside. Okay, so as I head into the session, besides the fact on the daily we seem to be in some sort of kind of rangy kind of area. On the short term, I can begin to say that maybe we are starting to look a bit bullish as we head into the session. Okay, as always, I'm gonna seek additional information from the markets. I'm going to be looking for the market, to kind of give me some initiative price action. I'm going to wait for the initial balance range to establish and let price dictate to me what direction they're looking to take this market. Okay. So that's kind of what I have for you. We've got some volume that's also indicating that maybe there is some positive volume coming into this market. Okay. Right now, 6660 seems to be kind of the temporary top of this current move. But assuming we can get above 6660, it stands to reason that we could get as high as 67 in this market, right? It's within the realm of possibility here. Okay. If I do a little bit of an extension here on this market, if I do maybe, I'm going to take a look at this, maybe this swing here, take it all the way to the top. You can see that 6688 is well within the tolerance here. 6741 is this measure, right? So we have kind of a forecast of where the market can go. Okay, based on the swings that have been developed using some math here. Okay, all right. So let's see. Before we move on to the equity markets, I'm just gonna kind of give my marketing spiel here. I want to encourage folks, if these reviews support your analysis of the markets, don't be shy with the likes. Don't be shy with the comments. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Again, I do have a goal of mine to try to build this portal up to 1,000 subscribers. I'm a little over 230 away from reaching that goal. So yeah, so I'm going to be trying my best to get to that goal here over the next actually I have the goal here at the end of the month to try to get to that goal. Okay. So let's go ahead now that I give my little marketing, I've seen some action here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the NASDAQ, which I know is the market that everybody loves. Okay. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the NASDAQ. But in any case, it is a market that does move. Okay. It is a market that rewards people. It is a market that we need to continue to look at. Right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the daily here. Okay, and let's get a sense of what the market is trying to accomplish. Okay, so right now, looks like we've gotten into some sort of area of some indecision. Okay, over the last couple of days, we really haven't made serious strides in either direction, right? Market remains in some sort of bullish structure. Okay, but over the last couple of days, the price or candles that we received are a bit muted, right? A bit indecisive, right? So daily still shows bullish. Okay, 4-hour chart is giving us some indication of some sort of range. Okay, seems like looks like a little heavy. Okay, we are creating a little bit of topping patterns here, right around this 24,434. Okay, these areas look like it's struggling to get higher. Okay, we did manage to make some new highs, but those new highs have been received with sellers, and we've been down ever since. Okay, so 4-hour candles, we have consecutive candles that are to the downside, and now we have a neutral candle right up against this visible range volume profile. Okay, if we manage to hold this level and continue higher, then all's good in the world, right? But if we start to close inside this area, then it would indicate that we are in some sort of range, and it would not be out of the question if we sort of rotate through, right, this range, maybe as low as this 23,000 to 1250. Okay, that would be a pretty significant move. All right, but the fact is, right, we're not making any new highs, right? Over the last series of candles here, last 8 hours, we've been down. Okay, we've been lower. All right, so let's go ahead and move into the 30-minute chart. Let's see what the 30-minute chart has to say. Okay, again, you can see that like we were kind of alluding to on the crude oil, right? Kind of, I guess, kind of reversed here, right? If you create this, if you flip this chart, right? Flip this chart, you can see that where crude has been, right? So we're kind of creating kind of a little bit, I would say, a little bit of a topping pattern, right? I don't know. Some of you may already recognize this pattern already, but this does look like maybe the beginnings of maybe a head and shoulder pattern. I'm not sure, but I'm kind of identifying this here as the head. Okay, this is the head of the pattern. Okay, maybe we have a developing right shoulder. Okay, this is the right shoulder, and then so I don't know. Is this the entire shoulder? Was this the shoulder? Is this kind of a cockeyed head and shoulder pattern? Right? So it's tough to say, but it does appear that we are creating some sort of head and shoulder pattern that could lead us lower, right? So that's kind of what I'm kind of seeing at the moment here, right now. What is this telling us? Well, it's telling us that the magnitude of this move, assuming that let's say that this is, I don't know, let's say this is the neckline, okay? Maybe move this lower here like this. Let's say that this is the neckline. Okay, I don't know. It's kind of what I'm seeing right now. I could take this measure from the top of the head. Well, this is kind of indicating to us that maybe we are in for a move, right? That would take us down to this level, right? Based on this pattern. Okay. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Okay. So 23,313.50. Okay. Again, that's kind of another area, right? You can see here, that's been an area in the past that's been supportive, right? You can see that price has made it down to this level and reversed. So not out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay. So let's go ahead and remove this. We'll continue our research here. We're going to turn off the visible range volume profile here for a moment, and we're going to open up our fixed range volume profile for yesterday's session. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and start with a 630 candle, work our way over to the 430 candle, and that is our range. Okay, so you can see that price, and again, we're about half hour away from the open of this market, but this market is inside range from yesterday. So what can we expect? Well, it's giving us a sense of direction, right? It's telling us that we are in some sort of balance zone, balance area. Balance area indicates range kind of potential of range kind of price action. Okay, so we could be in range throughout the session today, and we've already started seeing indications of that. All right, with the start of London, right? London has not given us anything in the way of direction on this market. We've had overlapping candles. So headed into the session, given the proximity of some of these candles right now, I would have to say that I'm either say maybe neutral to bearish. Okay, the fact that we are below VWAP, I'm neutral to bearish in the Nasdaq. Okay, neutral to bearish, mainly because of the fact that we are on the shorter time frame below my VWAP. Okay, if I draw in my anchored VWAP here for the start of London, that's probably going to give us a little bit of a mix view here. And sure enough, yeah, we're slightly below that as well. Okay. indicating that we have some kind of a horizontal VWAP here. But yeah, so I would say that headed into the session, I remain bearish, and then it's my job to figure out what locations in this market can I participate and manage my risk. Okay, so let's go ahead, now that we have this kind of view of Nasdaq, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the ES. Okay, it's probably going to give us the same kind of view, same kind of structure patterns. Okay, only at different price points. Okay, so again, we're going to go ahead and start with a daily. Again, we are seeing some rejection candles above here, right? Some indecisive candles. We closed with a kind of a high wave candle here, wicks on both ends of the candle. We're creating yet another high wave candle, wicks on both ends of the candle. Okay, so again, coming into some markets that are maybe in a little bit on the indecisive side. Now, have we broken any structure to the downside? No, we're still very much looking at some bullish, right? Daily still showing us signs of bullish price action. Okay, 4 hour. Let's see, 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour. Okay, a little bit more neutral, right? That's kind of what's causing these neutral candles that we're seeing on the daily, right? So I mean, if I can create a box, right, without breaking anything outside the box, right, I'm able to contain price inside a rectangle, right? That is indicating to me that we're not currently in these last set of candles. We're not in a trend, right? We are in some sort of consolidation range, right? Hey, David. We're in some sort of consolidation range in this market. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to be kind of neutral here. Okay, so I'm just going to make this gray, right? Not adding any sort of opinion here, just gray, right? We are in some sort of range at the moment. Okay, all right. So looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, so 30-minute chart, similar kind of view, right? We are in some sort of range. London was not able to do anything with this market, right? We still remain in some sort of, I would say, bearish structure. Again, I don't know. I don't know. You probably are, again, the similar kind of head and shoulder pattern, although this is a little bit uglier. Again, if this is the head, this is the right shoulder, right? Right. And then I don't know, a pretty ugly left shoulder, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into this too much. Okay, but in any case, I'm seeing some sort of topping pattern. Okay, in this market. Okay, no, I'm not trying to get to a symbol. I'm just trying to create some text here. Okay. Sometimes when I talk to my platform, it listens better. Okay. All right. All right, so this is kind of, oh, that's not the left shoulder. It's the right, it's the left. Okay, there it is. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing. Again, if I take this head down to the base of the neck, well, what's it telling me? How far can this go? Well, it could go as far as down this level, right? 63.80. Look to the left. Is there anything going on in 63.80? Well, we have something going on in 63.75. 63.7750. Okay, that is a relatively, and then a little bit lower than that. Okay, so in any case, I don't know. Feeling that maybe we are creating a little bit of a topping pattern here in these markets. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up. Let's see, our fixed range volume profile. We're going to get a sense of where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. But I think I probably already know the answer to this question. But we'll do this, and then nonetheless. We're going to go ahead and move that across. Okay, so you can see similar to the Nasdaq, we are inside value. Okay, inside the range from yesterday. Again, indicating that we could be in store for some sort of range price action in this market. Now we're still about 25 minutes away from the open of this market, but we are in some sort of bearish structure here. Okay, we're starting to see signs of creating lower highs and lower lows. Okay, It'll be interesting. Wow, it's kind of moving here pretty vigorously pre-market. Okay, it'll be interesting to see how well we hold, if we hold value area low. Okay, if we hold value area low, maybe this is just a kind of a minor pullback before we continue our move to the upside. If we break below value, then I think and hold with some volume, then I think it opens up the door to maybe some possibilities of lower pricing. Okay, but don't underestimate these candles here. Okay, there was a fair amount of volume, a fair amount of transactions that were executed at these levels. This area is not going to just go away, right? It's going to take a little bit of effort to get through this area. Okay, let's go ahead and open up our visible range volume profile. I think I know the answer to this question as well, right? We're right smack in the middle of a value area. Okay, again, similar. This is would be kind of a similar view if we can look at a little bit closer to the market here. Again, you can see that we've created a fair amount of volume here we have the lower end of our value range being tested as we speak. Okay, so I would say that the 6,400 level, I think, is going to be a relatively important level for this market. If we are unable to hold 6,400, I think that opens the door for maybe price to come back down, okay, to maybe revisit 63.95 and maybe beyond. Okay, so 6405, 6400, these are all kind of important levels, I would say, in this market. Value area low is coming in at 6400. Okay, so if we are going to indeed remain in range, then I would expect 6400 to hold. Okay, all right. So headed into the session, again, similar to the Nasdaq, I would say that I'm kind of neutral to bearish. Okay, in this market. I'm going to go ahead and open up our anchored VWAP here for London. You can see that price is below that. So it'll be interesting to see how price behaves around this 6,400 level as we approach the open of the session. Okay. All right. Before we do kind of one last kind of review of across all the markets, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Dow. Okay. And take a look at the daily. Okay. So looking at this, we have a couple of inside candles here. After we broke into the upside, we could not muster any new interest to the upside. The best that we can do was to create a couple of inside candles in this market. Okay, so while the market, I would say, remains bullish. Okay. I do see that we are kind of maybe slowing down, okay, in the momentum. All right. So probably, I don't know, maybe a little bit more neutral, maybe in the Dow than I am in the other equity markets. Okay. Let's take a look at the 4-hour, see if it gives me any insights. 4-hour. Okay. So we have kind of a steady set of candles, which is very uniform set of candles. So, not, if we're going to sell off, right, it's not as orderly as this. Okay, so this seems very orderly, kind of grind to the downside, which kind of leads me to believe that maybe this is not an impulsive move, right, to the downside. This is more maybe of an organized move to the downside, maybe to get to maybe some area where participants on the bullish side could add to their portfolios. This does not seem like an impulsive mood or fear of the market, kind of crumbling. Okay, so in any case, we are coming into an area, right, of value here. Okay, we're going to again turn off our visible range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and turn on our fixed range volume profile. We're going to get a sense of, first of all, moving to our 30-minute chart. Okay, we're going to get a sense of remove some of our drawings here. Okay, remove some of our drawings looking at this. Okay, and we're going to open up our fixed range volume profile for yesterday's price action. Okay, and similar to all the other ones, now we are kind of we've already kind of broken to the downside, this value range. Okay, So I would say that maybe the Dow might be maybe leading the charge to the downside. We've already broken, I should say, not kind of, we've already broken to the downside, right? That was met with some buyers, and that took us back up to VWAP. Okay. We have kind of a VWAP that's beginning to slope lower. Okay. A lot of indecision, right, as to exactly which direction they want to take this. Created a little bit of a demand zone here. So that's kind of maybe caught my attention here. So we'll go ahead and mark that level, right? You see a little bit of demand being created here. Okay. Right. But in otherwise, right, if we look from left to right, we're in bearish structure. Okay. So of the three markets, okay, the Dow seems to be the weakest. So I would say that definitely bearish headed into the session. Okay. We are in some areas, right? We are in some areas where we could potentially rally, right? We this is an area where we've seen some bullish price action in the past. Okay. But the overall structure still remains bearish. All right. All right. So now that we have a view across all the markets, we're going to take one last peek here across all the markets. Okay. I'm just going to really quick open up the initial balance here. Okay. So again, gold market appears to be continue to be bearish, possibly coming into some areas where we could see some buyers beginning to step into this market. But I would say that headed into the session, we're bearish. Okay. Crude oil. Okay, crude oil market looking bullish. All right, coming up against some levels, up against some levels where we could find some sellers. Okay, we're up at some levels here where we could find some sellers in this market. Okay, but the market, price structure we're seeing right now, not the prettiest price structure, but it is to the bullish. It is in the bullish direction. Okay. Now, again, across all the equity markets, we've already kind of touched on this. NASDAQ, inside value looking lower. ES, also inside value looking lower. And the YM, the Dow, technically inside value also looking lower. Okay. So across all the markets outside of maybe the crude oil, I would say that we're heading into a session neutral to bearish. Okay. Maybe a little bit more bearish in the gold, and then maybe more neutral to bearish in the equity markets. Okay. So that's kind of what I have for you guys. If there's a market out there that you want me to take a look at, we do have a little bit of time here remaining. If there's a market that you want me to take a look at, I'm happy to oblige. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and you're welcome, George. Okay. If there's no request, it might not be a bad day to put some good tires on the truck, Dirk. Maybe if you are an opening range breakout kind of trader, maybe there's a range bound kind of as they establish the market. Maybe there's a move there. But yeah, based on what I'm seeing, especially on the equity side, it does feel like maybe that we are headed into some sort of rangy kind of market. But we don't know, right? We'll have to wait and see kind of the what kind of initiative price action we get with the open of the markets. Okay. All right, guys. Well, if there's no requests here, we'll go ahead and close off this session as we close most sessions. Again, don't be shy with the likes. Don't be shy with your comments. Don't be shy with the subscribes, the bells, anything to support the portal here is very much will be well received, and I thank you guys in advance, okay, for your support. All right. So with that, guys, we'll go ahead and close off the session as we close most sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again next week.